What do you do when your first love leaves you? Hey guys, welcome back to 5 nothing 100 nothing.com. I am Fugget. That stands for the fittest underdog guru using intelligent tactics. Guys, I want to talk to you today about something I got inspired by in a comment on another video from a guy who said that 2 months had passed. He had just discovered the channel, and he had his first love, his very first girlfriend of 3 years, leave him. So he didn't go into a lot of detail, but I will say that it kind of took me down memory lane in that the same exact thing happened to me. Is my very first love that was my first long-term girlfriend, after 3 years, broke up on Valentine's Day. Ain't that nice? And the funny thing was, when it happened, I did not believe her. I just thought, there's no way, you've got to be kidding me. We were making plans for the future. All these things were moving in the right direction. I was finishing up school, she was finishing up school, and I thought, this is it. But what did they say? You don't know what you don't know. And I had very little experience in dating, as far as having like a girlfriend, and I thought that I'd figured it out on the first try. So hindsight is your best teacher, in that when I looked back over the course of that relationship, I could see where we weren't going to be a good fit long term, and only through the pain, the tears, the self-reflection, and the growth did I move on and become a better, happier person in my future relationships, and most importantly, with myself. So when that first happened, again, I was in denial. I didn't believe it because I thought everything was fine. And for the first several weeks, I had the emotional ups and downs, right? The stages of grief, where I'd reach out, I would try to find friends or family that can convince her that she's supposed to be with me. I would, just for no reason, just start crying and really break down over it. It was heart-wrenching. And little by little, I started to heal. And that lump in the throat, that pain in the heart starts to slowly fade away. But it takes a lot of time. Those songs that are familiar, the movies, the routines that you had together, they all gently, gradually, ever so slowly start to become less and less impactful on your day-to-day life. But everybody's a little different, and people heal in their own time and move on. And it took me a little while, but I started dating again, and I really threw myself into improving myself and really getting in touch with me and who I was and what I wanted. And lo and behold, a year later, I was in a totally different place. I was in a different career. I was in the best shape I'd ever been in my life, and I was happier than I'd ever been, where this girl wasn't even an afterthought, where she consumed my thoughts and my emotions and everything else. And basically my conversations with anybody in my family or my friend group, it was now like just an afterthought. People would bring her up and say, hey, have you heard from her? And I'm like, no, nothing. And oh yeah, no. It was like, it kind of took me by surprise because I had not been thinking about her. And I realized then that I was healed and had moved on. So all of my efforts for months to try to get her back, and her rejecting me and blaming me for everything, all of a sudden, out of the blue, she wanted to get a coffee and have breakfast. So she was, yeah, let's just catch up. It's been a while. Like, okay. So we met up, and again, I hadn't seen her in a year. and I looked my best. I looked like knockout awesome, right? I was living my best life, like really living my best life. People say, oh, I'm living my best life, but I was really living my best life. I'd never been up to that point in my life as centered and feeling like pure joy with like the things I was doing, who I was becoming, the people I was dating. And we sat down and I could see she wasn't who she was when she was with me. She had stopped working out. She'd really gotten into the partying lifestyle. You could tell she was tired, just not who I had a year ago, right? The years previous. So, her self-confidence had taken a hit, and she was really much like the tables or the script had flipped, right? The tables flipped, was that what they say? So now she was the one who was coming off as a little bit desperate, needy, over complimenting of me, and I just was respectful and nice and just trying to figure out what she wanted. After a year of being away, and I think she noticed that I wasn't chasing her anymore because it'd probably been at least 6 to 8 months that I had just let it go, where it was like 3-4 months that I was relentless, wasn't stalkerish, but I would reach out to her and I would get no response. This was before cell phones and texting and everything, so basically everything was either email or phone call. So I just had given up and knew that I had to work on myself to survive and to be my best me. So it was a lot of pain, but when something is dead, or it's something that's not, what didn't end on your terms, or you didn't agree to it, it's very hard to then pick up the pieces and move forward, because there's that little spot in the back of your mind where you think, what if they come back? Like, I don't want to change or move on too much because that's the love of my life and I want them and they're going to come to their senses, like it's some Hollywood movie. But you can't live your life that way and wait on somebody to come back, because they've made a choice that they don't want to be with you and they're willing to risk losing you, which is why they first broke up in the first place. So when you've extended that olive branch and you've attempted to get back with this person and you're getting met with resistance, there's nothing you can do to change that situation. All you can do is focus on yourself, heal, learn from the mistakes you might have made in the relationship, and become a better version of you. And the world's a big place, and when you're in a lot of pain and heartache, it doesn't matter. Nothing really matters. Your routines, doing the things you love to do, maybe enjoying the meals or the types of food you enjoy or activities, it all just is like you're in a bad dream and you can't wake up from it. But it does take time, and you will heal and you will be better if you choose to focus your energy in that direction. But it's okay to grieve for a period of time, but it can become an unhealthy obsession and a narrative that you tell yourself that you were a victim and how could they do this to you, and you're such a great person and it would have been an amazing relationship if they had just stuck it out with you. That does not help you heal. What does help you heal is to realize that all of us have free will, and sometimes people just fall out of love, or they change, or they just start to develop different wants and desires for their life. And you shared a period of time with this person and it worked for them, but all things change, all things grow, all things come to an end. So that was just it. This wasn't your forever. This wasn't a soulmate. This was what it was for the period of time. And maybe it's something that should have ended sooner. Who knows? But at the end of the day, they've made a choice for themselves to move on and explore other options for their life. One of the things she told me when we sat down was the things that it gave me peace of mind and closure, in that she was like, I realize everything I had with you, I went out and I dated and I partied, but there's not a lot of guys that treated me like you treated me. You were so good to me, and we had so much fun together. So now she's talking about all those things nostalgically that we had, when initially in the breakup, when I was bringing those things up, she just blew them off and said that she wants better, she wants more. And she went out and saw that it wasn't there, and she backpedaled towards me. But that was the risk she took when she decided to end the 3-year relationship. So I grew, and I was very thankful even before that confirmation, hearing her say it across the table from me, where she wanted to get back together and work things out with me. And I didn't have a steady girlfriend or anything at the time. And I told her, I said, I'm really being super sincere when I tell you this. I care about you. I really cherish the time we had together, but I've really changed and I've really grown, and I don't think we'd be a good fit anymore. I said, maybe occasionally we can have a lunch or something, but I can't make you any promises. I don't feel the same way I used to feel about you. I feel like we're two different people now, and we really were. And she was really struggling with that, and she could tell that I was really different and changed, and had forgiven her, and was at peace with her deciding not to be in the relationship anymore. I wasn't bitter. I realized that was one of the best things that ever happened to me, was that I lost that relationship. So I have no idea where I would be as far as my personal growth and my happiness if that hadn't happened and if we had stayed together. So there's times where there's going to be a lot of pain in your life. But in that pain, there's a growth opportunity for you. It happens for a reason, okay? You don't know why, but the only way that you can look at it so that you're going to be able to move on with your life and be happier than even you were at the best of days with this person is to self-reflect, learn from your mistakes, figure out who you are, what you really want, and then be out there and watch all things work for those who put the work in. They'll work for your good, but it takes time, and it takes some support, and it takes knowledge, it takes some prayer, and the biggest and hardest thing is that it's a time thing, and you can't see it like a snap of the fingers and everything's better. It just takes time. But use that time wisely. Heal, grieve the relationship, grow personally, focus on you, and rebuild you. You'll be your best version of you for that next person that comes in your life, and they may just be the one. Like, share, subscribe.